introduced me to a woman who talks to dead people. You know, it's like, I'm curious, whatever. And I'm having a conversation with the woman, and all of a sudden she goes, wait a second. She looks over my shoulder and says, somebody's here. And it's like, I don't know this woman. It could be a whatever. And it was the guy.
She knew his name?
She knew his name. She knew the whole story. And she said, he's always with you, and he's so happy you remember him. And
is that name published anywhere?
No,
like, could I Google that and find?
No.
So you're telling me, because I have a hard time with that bullshit. You know, I don't buy anything.
She's the real one.
I mean,
she knew the kid. No, she knew his name. She knew the story. She knew the circumstances. And she even went into, he's so grateful that you remember him. And he's always.
And you said nothing?
No.
Wow.
You didn't supply anything.
No, we were just having a conversation about what it's like to talk to dead people.
Right.
And then she was like, she looked over my shoulder like how a cat will look in the corner, and you think, what's that? And she went to the whole thing and said, sometimes it just happens. They come in because I'm open, and boom, all this information came through from
She
this
didn't
kid.
do that parlor trick thing where they go, oh, I see someone with a C.
No.
C.
She knew she said his name. She knew what had happened to him. She told the whole.
So are you a believer now?
I've always been a believer. I'm not a skeptic by nature. I'm skeptical of systems like the government and the entertainment business, but I'm not skeptical of people.
Yeah, you're kind of like one of those conspiracy theory guys. You went on Alex Jones's show.
I wouldn't many times. I wouldn't call it conspiracy.
Do you buy into Alex Jones and all that?
There's so much information. It's hard to say what is true or not. What I don't mind that there are people who want to know the truth,
right?
And they want to hammer away to get at the truth. I don't see that. To me, that's a democratic principle. I mean, you ask questions, I ask questions. It's totally fine.
Right.
It's when people start saying you can't ask a question, that's weird to me. Like, that question's off limits. Well, why is it off limits?
Specifically, you still look at the 9/11 situation, the Twin Towers, and do you think that it was
all that stuff to me is like, that's all beyond my pay grade. I mean,
right.
I have opinions, but I think it's like, the problem is, it's like the world we live in now with social media is like, the minute you step into a lane, then you got this army coming at you, and this. It's like, I'm just a dude. So, okay, I go Google sometimes. That doesn't mean I'm an expert. I'm not an expert in structural steel.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
People start yelling at you.
Yeah,
like,
and it's just like again, what I always say is like, if like, you know your name, I know my name. If somebody came up and said, no, your name's Bob, there's nothing to be afraid of because you know your name is Howard.
Right.
Right. So if you know something, then what are you afraid of? If somebody questions what you know, you should just be able to laugh it off and go, you're just a whack job. But the fact that people have such violent reactions to questioning, that makes me suspicious.
Because Alex Jones told me there's a race of lizard people, and I just that's when he lost me. You know, I just
well, not to add to the conspiracy, but I have had paranormal experiences in my life that sort of lend itself into that category.
No shit.
What do you mean?
I won't talk about it.
You got to tell me something.
No, I can't.
What happened to you?
I can't.
Were you abducted?
The lizard people got to you?
See, now here we go.
No, wait a second. William Patrick.
I need to get George.
Listen to me.
Takei or Takai? What's his name?
Grab your cock.
I'd rather have him look at my cock right now.
No, so wait a second. William Patrick, you cannot drop a bombshell like that. What happened? Give me a for instance. I want to know.
I'm turning red. I'm so embarrassed.
No, don't be embarrassed. Come on, share. Why not? We have to discuss these things.
Let's just say I was with somebody once and I saw a transformation that I can't explain.
The person transformed into something other than human.
Yes, I saw it.
Were you on drugs?
I was not. I was totally sober.
Wow. You
were talking to. I'm asking you some questions. If you were talking to someone.
Yes.
And you're having a conversation like we are now, this close, and the person suddenly, not in a hallucination, they said to you, "Look, something's going to happen here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to morph into something else," and you're like, "This is ridiculous."
That's not how it happened.
Give me a please. I want to see this.
Imagine you're doing something and suddenly you turn around and there's somebody else standing there,
a different human.
Sorta. It's hard to explain without going into detail. I'd rather not go into details.
Okay, but did you say to the person, "What'd you just do here?" That's
yes,
not you.
And they acknowledged it.
And what did they say they were? From another planet?
They wouldn't explain.
Why not?
Again, without telling the story, it's a really messed up story.
A famous person?
No.
Good. Why is he not famous? By the way,
why is that good?
Why didn't you put him on wrestling?
Believe it or not, they're actually a voting member of the Rock and Roll Academy.
Is that true?
No, I'm just.
It's Jan Wenner, isn't it?
But when you say they transformed into someone else or something
I mean, Billy,
else.
I've had that happen.
I'm being vague on purpose.
I was with a woman once. She took her makeup off. I didn't know who the fuck she was. I'm telling you, she totally tricked me. You talk about something like that, that's a different story. Wow. I mean,
it's up there with one of the most intense things I've ever been through.
Well, I got to tell you something. I think that's great. That gives me hope.
Would you like to know that there was
but this conversation gives me hope because I want to know that there's an afterlife. And you're telling me that this kid who committed suicide when you were 12 was there, according to this woman. And you're also telling me there are supernatural things.
We have superpowers, people with superpowers.
So I'll tell you one quick thing that I can talk about. That's kind of cool.
Okay.
Similar, but less dark. I was working on my book, which I've sort of stalled at the moment, but I was in another room and I was working on the book, and I was working on this thing that I bought to make it easier for me to write the book. And I was being lazy about saving the book, and I hit some weird key and the thing blanked, and I lost 8 days worth of work, and I was lost my mind.
It's the worst.
At that exact moment in the other room, my girlfriend was cooking dinner or whatever, and she turned and she saw a woman walking through the kitchen, and it was my mother, because she's only seen in pictures.
Right.
My mother at 25 years old, walking fast with her head down through the kitchen. And my girlfriend was like, what the heck just happened? So she followed the spirit through, and there was nothing. And she came in to tell me, and it had happened at the exact moment that I blanked my book. So she was coming in one direction to tell me, I just saw your mother as a ghost in the house. I'm coming to tell her, oh my God, I just lost this 8 days worth of work. It was like this weird, like ripple in time thing.
And did your mother help you get your stuff back at least? I mean, the woman could have done something nice for you. I like she shows up now as a ghost. Was never around when you need her.
Well, she's walking with her head down.
A thought just popped into my head, though.
Yeah.
Are you afraid to tell what you saw that day with this person who transformed because you're afraid of their power and they would hurt you?
No, not at all. No. It's like I'd rather tell it in I'd rather do the whole story like in a book, or it's like.
So you are going to tell the story one day.
But
my show's not good enough to tell the story.
No, it's contextual. It's like
right.
It's hard to. It's in this context. It's hard to tell the story the way it happened.
Well, no wonder you question everything. If you saw that, of course you got to question everything.
Yeah, I've seen a few things where it makes me think that it's like the Matrix or something.
Do you still know this person?
No.
I would stay in touch.
No, not a good person.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying.
We're talking more on the demonic side here.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You mean they have evil crap?
Well, you could argue that.
Oh, that's depressing.
Well, I think people kind of treat the Bible like it's a whatever,
a fairy tale,
toilet paper fairy tale. So, and I've had enough experiences to think that a lot of stuff that's in there is
literal,
based on things that happened in times where people were probably had access to less knowledge. If that makes any sense. It's like in a world that has less access to information, the paranormal stuff could have gone on because you could be happening and you'd have to go tell I saw a burning bush or something, and people would think you're crazy.
Have you ever told like a psychiatrist these stories and they think you're crazy?
No, but I have talked to people who have had similar experiences, and it sort of pans out as similar dynamics.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Who are these people?
Keep them away from me.
I'll send you an email if they're coming on your show.
Now, the new, let's call it an album, because I don't know what we call collection.
It's still an album.